What's up, everybody? We are back with another full practice with our favorite ATP coach, Coach Ruan. This was my last day in Little Rock, Arkansas. I know it's taken me a while to put this video out, so sorry about that. But last day here in Little Rock, I thought this was maybe one of my best practices so far. It certainly had the most kind of unique drills, so I think you guys will appreciate it. I actually really appreciated going back and watching. But as you can see, we just started with our normal short court games where Ruan dominates me and blows up his own ego. I think I think that's most of the reason we do these, just to remind me that he is the top dog. But start with a little quick short court hitting. Right from the start, trying to get my racket prepared on the forehand a little bit further away so I don't have any hitches or anything. That's something we've been working on. And then back to the baseline, quick warm up, get my legs going. And today we went pretty quickly into our first drill. So this first drill is a new control drill we've never done before. Basically, you're hitting up and down the middle, but you're doing it in a figure-8 pattern. So he's hitting cross, I'm hitting line, and because you have to keep the ball in the middle, you really need to be pretty precise and accurate. As you can see, I made a ton of mistakes, but you're basically trying to make that figure-8 pattern. We did that for maybe 3 minutes and then switched, so then I was going cross and he was going line. From there, we went into a little bit of target practice. This was a couple days before the first tournament I had played, so we were starting to move the style, or I guess the goal of our drills, to more results focused. That's what he said to me, at least. So this drill we just did up the middle until one of us hit the cone or hit the pyramid, and then the same thing cross forehands until one of us hit the cone, and then right after that switch to the backhand side. I don't want to say anything, but I did hit both cross-court cones, so I think that basically means I'm better than Ruan. Once I finished gloating, we went into our first point style drill of the day. So there's a little blue line, it's hard to see, but I'm standing on it right there. We're playing baseline points, but the only rule, if you hit more than one ball in a row inside that blue line, you lost the point. So all about keeping depth. And this is a really challenging drill. We definitely let each other off the hook a few times, but if you're trying to do the drill yourself, all we did was we just call out when the other person was short. So you're playing, if the other person plays short, you just make sure to call out short. That way they know they're on one strike.
No.
Once I finished complaining, we moved on to our next drill, which was cross-court points. We started in a cross-court rally, and the point doesn't open up until someone tries to go down the line. So it's a little bit of a game of chicken, and then also all about shot selection. He's trying to get me to make a little bit better choices, better decisions when I decide to change up the line. Because if I choose the wrong time, or I leave that down the line ball sitting, he just finishes the point basically right away, or at least gets me on the run. One thing I've really struggled with kind of historically, and that him and I are consciously trying to change, is just that my natural instinct on the forehand a lot of times is to take a step back. So I'm trying to at least stay neutral or get my body weight a little bit into each forehand I hit. Doesn't necessarily mean I do it every time. And I also almost always forget to hit off of a slice. So that mistake, he's probably tired of seeing that. From there, we went into literally the exact same drill, just on the other side. And this is maybe a little bit more about moving around your backhand to find a forehand. Obviously, if your backhand line is strong, it's a good drill for that. But for both of us, I felt like this drill was more playing cross until we had an opportunity to get around our backhand and open up the court with the forehand. If you've been watching me at all for like the last couple months, you can tell for sure, I hope you can tell that definitely made a lot less mistakes today than normal, a lot less early mistakes. Okay, next drill, sort of in the same scheme of drills, which is like points with specific rules. This time we had little lines on the court, which were basically cutting out the center third. Hopefully you can see it. That was a terrible feed from him. These little lines kind of blocking off that center no man's land area, and we're playing points. And the whole idea was that if you hit the ball in that spot, you lost the point. So trying to get me to, again, work on depth, but also keep the ball out of the center. As I get ready for my tournament, you're trying to see how often I can keep that high quality ball. Again, this is like an extremely hard drill. I chose the best points to show you guys just so you can get a better idea, but that drill was pretty challenging. And of course, as we're getting into tournaments, we basically spent the last 40 to 50 minutes of practice hitting serves, and as you'll see here, we warmed up a couple serves, and then we started to do this serve +1 drill, which I really liked. So the idea, or his idea for me, is that I'm going to develop these patterns of play which I can sort of rely on. So for example, we did serve out wide and then hit into the open court. And there's nothing fancy about it, just getting comfortable, kind of expecting what ball you're going to play after which serve. I actually made a ton of mistakes doing this. I think that after my serve, a lot of times I'm not getting ready quickly enough, but this is something new I'm adding into my practice for sure, because I felt like when I got into my tournament, I was way more comfortable to play that first ball, not for any reason other than I just practiced it. You know, you're building that little bit of comfort, and as Ruan said to me, this is really where you win and lose matches. I mean, everybody wants to practice the rally stuff from the baseline, but if you can't serve and make a first ball, you're in trouble. And then the last thing we did was something he had just spoken about and we had never really had a chance to do any feeding on, which was kind of using my body a little bit more on the wide ball out of the center. So he's trying to get me to get my hips forward into the shot. A little bit what I mentioned, like I fall backwards too much. So you can see I'm just trying to finish into the court with my hips and my legs. But that was it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Today was good. Much better. Much better.